What's up, survivors? I'm going to show you the easiest survival shelter that you can make coming up. Well, welcome to my office. This piece of material right here is a poncho from a military surplus store. We used to use these when I was in the Air Force and still use them today. They have grommets or holes in the corners and it's about man size. You can wear it as a rain jacket or you can make a shelter out of it. Real easy, real versatile, but you can use these same techniques if you buy a tarp from the store. So if you haven't seen the knots video, I recommend 5 10-foot lines and 5 5-foot lines. Somewhere in there to be able to tie up your shelter. Hang those up close by, don't set them on the ground. Because when you set them on the ground, it's easy to lose them if you have straight green cord and it's not very organized as well. First things first, inventory your materials. See what you have to make in the first place. See how wide a spot you need. For a poncho and for a lot of different shelters that you can buy, a little over arm's distance apart, that's how tall you are, is going to be wide enough for trees. So if they're too close or too far, you're going to be using too much line. This one right here is just about right. It's a little far away, maybe a couple feet, but we have enough line for that to tie up our poncho shelter. Then look around, make sure there's no dead trees in the area. So we find a dead tree, hold your arm at 45 degrees. If my end of my hand is over the top of that tree, then it's short enough to not follow me. But if I intersect that tree at any point, it's tall enough to follow me. So walk in a circle, turn in a circle, make sure there's no dead trees that can fall on you in the middle of the night in a windstorm. You also want to make sure you're not in a slide or avalanche area where something could come down in the middle of the night. Make sure you're not on a major game trail or in a dry riverbed where a flash flood could come from miles away and sweep you up. Check out the knots video for all these knots. For the first one, we're tying a girth hitch right here. Just make a bite, put it through your grommet or your loop, and then from there, grab both of those lines through the loop, pull it all the way through. Makes a nice sturdy knot that's easy to untie. Easy to tie and untie. With one of these ponchos tied up a little lower, with 2 of them snapped together to make a bigger A-frame, start about waist level. When smaller like this, a little bit shorter. We can raise or lower it as needed. Tie your material up around the tree, pull it tight, bring it back on itself, make a bite. Pinch that, grab the loop, down and through. Then we could even make another half hitch around it, not pull all the way that one through. That makes it a little bit more secure. But to take it apart, real easy. Girth hitch on the corner, pull it out about 45 degrees, see where you want your stake. Put some gloves on, grab a nice sturdy stick, at least a foot long, and then a good sturdy beater stick. When I hold it like this with my gloves on, if I miss, it's going to be less of a chance for injury instead of holding it like this and then hitting straight bone. So then from here, you just be hitting a little bit softer part of your hand. Pound it in deeper than you think you need to. And then tie a clove hitch. Come around once, around twice. Make an X right there. Put your finger on the X so it doesn't loosen up. And then that's going to loosen up the rear line. Don't pull it all the way through. Just leave a loop so it's real quick to untie. And then from there, go to the opposite corner. That helps pull it tighter. See where I want it? Angle your stake out 45 degrees away from the material. When you see wrinkles, you see them in this direction right here, pull 90 degrees to the wrinkle. See where it's going to look good? Put your stake in, angle it away. So grab your hood, tighten it up, twist it up so water doesn't get through. Turn it back on itself, wrap it around once and twice, and don't pull it all the way through so it's easy to untie. Leave your little loop there. And from there, we can tie this up to make it look better. Make a bird beak for a slip knot, wrap it around, slip knot. Put it on your hood, tie it up. Nice and comfy. You want your shelter big enough for you and your equipment too. Don't forget about that. And if there's a prevailing wind coming off the coast or just in your area, maybe you're on the side of a mountain, turn your shelter 90 degrees to that wind so it's not blowing in, or it goes in and then doesn't eddy around to it. So if one side is closed off, say if my back was to the wind, it can still come around the shelter and then come back and eddy inside it. Depending on how big your material is, you can tie these middle ones off, but this is so small, I usually don't. If it's a big tarp that I buy from Walmart, yeah, I'm gonna tie the middle off. Also with the stakes, if it's in the sandy area or the winter time, you can just tie your line right to your stake and then bury it right in the snow, stomp it down with at least 6 inches around it. It's gonna keep it nice and secure. Easy shelter, made it so many times, got me through so many different situations. Thanks for watching. Keep surviving. See you on the next one.